Good morning. This is the crypto day morning. Today's date coming in that of Saturday, 19th day of January 2019. In this video, we'll take a look at Bitcoin, a couple of alternate coins as well. And then as far as the sports agenda, I'll take a look at the National Football League Conference Championships and even the Super Bowl. An NBA play, an NBA opinion, NHL plays will be coming later in the day. I'm not playing the too early games on the hockey board. Okay, so all trades, bets of the like within each his own risk and their own reward on Bitcoin Daily. Small updates so far, up 2.85%. Price action has gotten as high on the Coinbase exchange up to that of 3,765. The 18 average of highs at 37.71. The Bitstamp exchange pretty much right on perfect, off by about $1. So it's come up to this little key area. This will help this declining, albeit barely declining mode, turn more neutral. I don't really look too much of this in a declining level, although it has been resisting the 18 lows. I guess I use past tense now for has, as it's now in the 18. But mainly sideways, a little bit of up, a little bit of down. But the rate of ascent from in here was low. The rate of descent ever since has been low as well. It still has to get above this for me to have an attempt to break it. For getting above this is just the upper end of the neutrality range in at around 4,100, and then breaking that, that's a significant situation in what the market needs to do in reversal of trend. Looking further at this move, when we take a look at this on a 4-hour term time frame, well, it was a really quick move. It just happened in one period, but it was quicker than that on the 4 for the single hour. There we see it going up and a little bit sideways, and that's what I talk about with these markets. They're going to go straight up, straight down, and then oftentimes go sideways thereafter. And there we see it there on the 15. On the 5, it happened in less than 5 minutes. If we move this on to the 1 minute term time frame, it was a 3-minute deal. It occurred in under 3 minutes. It wasn't that big of a move, but this is what these markets do. And when you look at this beforehand, was there anything to tell before this green candle that this was ready to get going? Well, this candle here had the high volume, at least compared to this. It had a decent sized gain, but as we can see what happened after it, it was pretty good. So this is something, and when you see something happen, look back after the fact. Was there anything I could have seen? I mean, for me, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm always sleeping at this time. But as far as pattern recognition is concerned, just those things like that can help out a little bit. Let's go on to some altcoins. And the first off is AID, which I've been talking about a little bit. I've had a sell last at about 950. It got up to about 11, but my highest number was 950. 707, I've yet to buy back. In fact, I've lowered my buy order. Nothing for what you can see here, for it was all order book related. I don't want to buy until a decent pierce below 700 as it is. My last buyback was around 650, the safe level. I've even reduced it back into here a little bit, above 614. And it's only because of the order book. The order book says that right now I can do it. Meaning, I think there's almost as good of a chance I'm going to hit 620 area compared to a 650 area. But the bigger percentage moves, well, the better it is for me. But oftentimes these big moves just come back to where they came from. And technically, it is now back to this resistance and these resistance points. And that could be it for support, for where support is. But even more times than not, it's going to even come into this little area here as well. If someone comes in and puts a big buy order at like 655 and I see it, I'm going to go 656. So I'll always adjust to the message of the market, not only via the charts, but via the orders that are placed as well. Next up is Steam, and it is having a nice little move as it has managed to get above this level of resistance. A double bottom pattern kind of deal in here, but regardless of the fact it's having its move, I don't know, because tops and bottoms known after the fact, single hour time frame, the 18 average is still showing that it's trying to go flat, trying to neutralize, but even then it's still in a nice rising fashion for you have support, nice little support on the 18 in here. Well, this is a breakout rather. Established resistance, gets above it for a beautiful gain, and then when it does leave it, it doesn't see the 18 average again until this price correction, successfully doing a correction here. And it did run out of steam, this 18, but all it did was just go sideways, go neutral in here. It takes a decent break above these two resistance points to resume the trend, which it did have. Now it's had another leg higher, so support, and it's been in this support area for a while. It was in a while for here too. It could be another few hours just going neutral. If you see weakness on the 18 and any type of move going lower than that, then that is the early stages of a reversal of trend to the downside. But as we see this now, we've got this coming up to the 18. When these markets go, they can just go, and a move of like 1800 in 12 days would not be a surprise. And I'm not here to try to predict what's going on, but just rather trade them as they move. Status Network is having an interesting set of days, as it's had very high volatility, but since this point in drawing tool didn't click when I pushed it. Now it did. Okay, so there we have the resistance back to correctionary move. Beautiful, two large green candles up, red down, and this one in here breaking above this high and looking pretty good right now, but decent sized gains. We had this nice little pattern showing the nice little reversal possibilities. This level of resistance has been broken. How much potential does this got? Where do we look short and long term from here? Well, amongst the short term, the support level has been easily established in that of the lower end at 625 down to 613. So low 600s is the area for support. Resistance originally was established at 710. It got above it, but it obviously hasn't held and stayed above it within that last move. Thus, resistance has also been increased, or the rectangular band is higher or more vertical at the 740. The price correction is now coming close to where it came from, in within the 18. If this 18 fails from a move of this nature, breaking out nice, having several periods coming back like this, and even to not even have a failed rally, which would be like going up to around high 600, 690 something. If it doesn't do that and it shows weakness, then it looks like this would be maybe it for this entire coin forever. And I'm kidding, it's short-term analysis. No, it could very easily mean that we could test some more of these lower areas. But because we've had this correctionary move, when you look at momentum breaking out above it, it just increases the probability chance that you would have further gains, meaning you see it in the high 600, 689, 692. You're playing with a possible failed rally. But more times than not, I think if you have a rally like this, you correct it, you start to leave it, you're going to do fairly well. And we look at this on a more long-term time frame. This is just breaking out of the 18 average of highs, and I mean just. Price actions only went from 427 to 700 and change. And when the coins go, they can do a 2, 4, 10, 20x gain when they want to, or have some pretty sick moves. In this period here, when all of the coins were going up, this went from 350 up to well over 4,000. So the potential, and it did so really fast. So the potential for it is always in play for monstrous reward, and there's always decent sized risk within these coins. Let's switch this off to Theta, which is only up a small amount today. I mean, it's only 4.5% against, or 4% against Bitcoin. Not much. And Bitcoin's up a couple percent on top of it as well. But as far as it's crossing its Bitcoin, it had this glamorous large move and has then just since just stayed doing a whole bunch of nothing, some small moves here and there, each rally getting smaller than the previous. This one was smaller, and then you had this one, and really that's all there's ever been for decent sized moves. But is it poising to have one right now? Question mark. And higher chances? Yes, that's the answer. I don't know if it's yes or no. 4-hour term time frame. We've just recently had a rally come up to this upper resistance area that was tested here, tested in here, tested here, and I don't know if I want to count much in here. However, this is a general decent size area of resistance, single hour term, and it's happening this hour. 34 minutes in the hour, so it's happening in the first 26 minutes. It's 9:26 a.m. High volume, big move. How much further can we go? I mean, they've got big potentials we've seen before. 15-minute time frame, we can see big green candle up beforehand. I mean, there's nothing to say. Oh, by the way, Theta's about to break out huge. Really? Okay, the chart sure told me that. No. But when they're ready to go, this is just a case of whatever group or large buyers coming in, and that's just what they're doing. 5-minute time frame, market's had its big gain. It's been volatile ever since, so it obviously makes this a potential for a day trading candidate. And if the big buyers are done and they're just, that's it, and they're not planning on doing anything, the market's going to probably top, and that'll be it for the day. We'll just come back to where we came from, which is oftentimes what these things do. And what I think a lot of big buyers are looking to do, and I haven't checked the order book on this, is they'll fill the order book down below here with some pretty decent sized buys, because they don't want to buy it. They want to buy it for as cheap as possible. And they got a lot of Bitcoin to buy with, and therefore they'll wait for a little while, get whatever they can. They're also at the same time, by letting time go by and having the price go sideways, let the ask orders fill. Meaning, as the price was going up, even up in here, the price action for the amount of asks or sell orders in at, say, 1370, 1400, 1500 in those areas are a lot higher now than they were before this event occurred. So therefore, what big buyers would oftentimes do is not only have buy orders ready to go just in case, but they would also be waiting for sell orders to fill in, so that when they're ready to make their big buys, they'll be able to buy more than they normally would within such. So those are just things that you can look for, and not really just with Theta, but for any coin really. However, if you're interested in this, you can take a look at it. I'm just going to let my orders come in and play as they will. I had sold last before at 1300, so I'm still a ways away, or a decent okay move away from my next trade, which would be a sell probably above 1400, if of course it's a sale order. This is it for the cryptos. I'm going to move on next to sports analysis. First off, talking about the championship games in the Super Bowl. And within the AFC and NFC championship games, first we got the New Orleans Saints as a 3-point home favorite against the Los Angeles Rams, a total in at 56.5. In this game, the Saints defense is magnificent against the run. I will not be expecting CJ Anderson to do what he did last time for the LA Rams. I think I got an opinion play for the Rams to lose and the Saints to win against the spread. Really, that's all it is. Watch out for Josh Hill. He's a very interesting feller. I don't know what position he plays. He's pretty much every position on the offense but offensive line. He's your running back, he's your tight end, he's your wide receiver, and your quarterback. He plays all of them, and he's very, very good. Good all-purpose player. I'm hoping, fantasy-wise, that he has a very big day. And he very easily can. Benjamin Watson's out for them. That doesn't really mean too much, but it does mean Josh Hill may get more extra time. The strongest opinion play that I have is on the Kansas City Chiefs laying a field goal, -3. This seems too easy. I mean, how do you back Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, really? I'll get more into that a little bit, but first, before doing so, they already got Super Bowl lines out for either Kansas City or New England, or the NFC Championship, Rams or Saints. I like either. I think both of these teams are better than these two in a neutral site game. So I think +1.5 for the AFC is a decent sized bet. It really tells me where the spread's going to be. Especially if the Saints win. The Saints are going to be favored by about 2 to 3 points, I think, regardless of who they play. And whether it's the Patriots or the Chiefs, I'm going to be backing them. Now for New England comes in this game 3-5 on the road on the season. Gronkowski is a shell of his former self, and his former self is a few months ago and definitely previous years. They're just not even attempting to throw the ball to him. And I'm also looking at Kansas City to run the ball really effectively. The New England rush defense is very, very poor. So I think New England's going to Kansas City's going to run the ball well. Patrick Mahomes is he's the best quarterback in the league. Just watching him just own the defensive line on the Indianapolis Colts last week, drawing them offside like 4, 5, 6 times with his hard count. Best hard count I've ever seen. He's probably the best quarterback, talent-wise, overall quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, to say that after his first full season of playing just means he's got the potential to do so, but he's already doing a lot of things that a lot of quarterbacks of great stature will never be able to do. Now, in this game, Tom Brady is playing his 7th ever career road game in the playoffs. He's won 3, he's lost 3. He won his first 2, so he's lost 3 of his last 4. He has played 23 games at home. 23. 8 of them in the Super Bowl. 5-3 in the Super Bowl, for an overall record of 28-9 in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes' career resume. He's yet to play a road game in the playoffs. He's 0-0. He's played 1 home game and he's 1-0. Super Bowl doesn't got a win yet, but he's got a perfect record, something Brady doesn't have in the playoffs. And I mean, it's 1 game, but it actually means a lot to me as a handicapper of sports to see you win your first playoff game. Brady won his first, although it took a tuck rule to do such. Not many quarterbacks do. There were 4 quarterbacks this year who played their first ever playoff game, and Mahomes was the only one of the 4 to win it. And I believe he is the real quarterback compared to the other ones as far as talent. Thus, I look at the line of -3. And then the consensus, Marty Schottenheimer. Andy Reid's the next. He is the previous Marty Schottenheimer. Great regular season playoff guy, but just loses in the playoffs. Well, what I know about Andy Reid is he develops quarterbacks better than magnificent. The only quarterbacks he really ever had was Donovan McNabb at first, which, I mean, I got to agree with the fans that booed him at the beginning of the draft. I don't think he was anything magnificent. He was good, and Andy Reid made him better. And then having Michael Vick on the tail end of his career after he got out of prison, again, not the greatest of quarterbacks, but definitely somebody pretty good. And then getting the best game manager, maybe of all time, but keyword just game manager, and Alex Smith. And I feel bad for Alex Smith with his big injury. And I haven't even seen the replay of it. It was so bad, but I'm just hoping he's fine. He might have ended his career. But Alex Smith was a magnificent guy at managing the game, and they did very well with that. But now he's got a magnificent quarterback. And before, when Kansas City lost to New England the last time in the playoffs, when it was in New England, Kansas City had wide receivers like Mike Conley and Jason Avant, and tight ends like Travis Kelce. Well, now they have tight ends like Travis Kelce still, but they got wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, which is just, it's more strong. So I really do like the Kansas City Chiefs -3 there. I don't know if it's a regular play. I don't really want to bet too much of the NFL. I'll look at the propositions amongst such, and I should be looking, and I maybe there's still another day, look at propositions for the championship games, because they're the ones, if you look deep enough and take a deep dive into the numbers and the statistics, you can actually possibly find some edges that you normally can't find on these very tight lines. Now, as far as NBA tonight, Miami Heat -3. That's the play. An opinion play on the Denver Nuggets at a huge line of 17.5 as favorites. An opinion play on their team total over 118.5. If it goes down to 17.5, or 16.5, I think. If it goes down to 60.5, that's it. I like it at 60.5 to play. But at 17.5, just a little too high. I'm expecting that the Denver Nuggets win the game somewhere around 25 points, 26 points, but I still want to make sure I have a very good line. NHL plays will come later on in the day, and you can expect that probably somewhere around 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Take care. Bye-bye.